and welcome to the Handforth Parish Council Planning Committee. We go straight to the agenda, and everything else is the same as it was before. We've all done the exits, you all know where you're going, hopefully if the fire alarm goes off. Right, item 21.19.1 to receive apologies for absence. We have received apologies. Do we need to vote on this again, Clark, please? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion then is to accept the apologies from Councillor Tolver. Those in favour? Those against? Can I just make a comment there? That we're not doing this for any other reason than that we need to follow standing orders. And these things have not been done properly in the past, and they need to be done properly from now on in. Because there's no point in having standing orders if you ignore them. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
If Councillor told you I'm late, then I think it's perfectly acceptable to accept apologies noted. It's just late but not attending.
Yes, if you turn, so.
Yeah. Did he turn up?
Did he say he was going to be there?
He said he didn't know he was going to make it. Copies of it.
So, right, okay, so it's not coming. Okay.
Can I just mention the instigation of my vote to accept this apology? But if he gave a reason, I don't think it's appropriate for it to be broadcast to all members of the public.
It doesn't have to be, so long as there's a reason. You don't have to announce it in the public. I understand where you're going with that one.
You wouldn't need to say what's wrong with your hill. It's quite clear that you've got to say what the illness is and prove it. Say I'm ill.
Okay. Item 21.19.2 to note declarations of interest and requests for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-opted member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Does that apply to any councillor here? Okay, so no. Item 21.19.3, this is the open forum where comments and questions concerning any items on the agenda can be put to the council by the public during this period. Matters which, in the chairman's view, require debate and or discussion will be referred to the next committee council meeting as appropriate. The public forum is restricted to 15 minutes unless the chairman allows otherwise. So, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody has any questions about anything on the agenda, please ask them now. Okay, no questions? Right, item 21.19.4, to approve and sign the minutes of the Planning and Environment Committee meeting of the 18th of May. So we have 3 pages, I think, no, 2 pages. Well, there's a third one, so we'll have to go through it as well. So any objections to page 1? Page 2? And page 3 is just nothing at all, really. Okay, so can we have a proposer, please, to accept those minutes? So Councillor Sampson proposes. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Julie Smith. Seconds. So can we have a vote, please? All those in favour of accepting? Unanimous. Okay, item 21.19.5 to approve and sign the minutes of the Planning and Environment Committee meeting of the 15th of June. Page 1? No? Page 2? Okay, may I have a proposer to accept those minutes? Councillor John Smith? May I have a seconder? Councillor Sampson. All in favour? Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Right, item 21.19.6. To consider the planning application 21-3140M, demolition of the existing front conservatory. single-storey front extension with retractable canopy and seating area, alterations to elevation windows, installation of a new external metal staircase to the rear with a small roof dormer to allow access to the roof storage area, 90 Wilmslow Road, Handforth. Comments, councillors?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm fully in support of this application because it looks a mess currently and it can only be improved on.
I concur with Councillor Smith. That's what I was going to say. It's going to improve the look of the building completely.
Yes, it's for those people who don't know. This is the just an Indian restaurant on the corner, which looks terrible at the moment. And yes, my only concern was when I was driving along and I was trying to imagine what that looked like as you came to the traffic lights and being able to see traffic from the right. I don't trust traffic lights, so I always look, just make sure there's something going. But I don't think it will. But yes, it looks lovely. It really does look nice. Okay.
I believe it's going to be a Mediterranean restaurant.
Oh right. Okay. That'll be interesting.
Jafra have actually picked up their box pants and moved into the railway.
Oh yes, and yeah, they're in there now, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I know, we've already tried it. For anybody that hasn't. Very good. Okay, can we vote on this then, please? Can I have a proposer? Councillor Sampson proposes we accept, seconder Councillor John Smith. All those in favour of accepting it? Yeah, unanimous. Item 21.19.7, to consider the planning application 21.3197M, which is a single-storey side extension and garage conversion and new roof, 8 Langley Drive, Handforth.
Chair, could I make a comment on this?
Yep.
And 2 people have objected because these houses are link detached, and what this planning application is for is to turn it into a semi-detached, not a link detached. And under the planning rules, I was reading it today, it shouldn't be allowed to go ahead.
Yeah.
That's not my understanding of that, because there will be a gap between the wall of the garage and the house at number 10.
Not according to the plans, Councillor Smith.
Well, that's what I've been told by the residents at number 10. I've spoken to them about this because they contacted me because they were concerned, and my concern was that all the houses on that row, I think there's 6 of them, they've all had extensions.
Yes, but all at the back, not at the front. And
no, the one at number 12 is at the side, but it doesn't abut onto anything. But you know, they have to apply for the party wall conditions anyway before they can go ahead and start building it. So you know, the residents at number 10 have got to agree to it.
Oh right, so they object.
Yeah, it's a link detached, it's linked by the garage.
Right.
But a lot of properties on that estate have done exactly what they're planning to do. It's not obvious from the front of the properties, but I've been in a couple that have done exactly that, and there is a gap between the garage wall and the gable end of the house next door.
And it's turning it into a semi when the estate
I've no idea.
No, that was my concern as well, because I was reading, yeah.
As far as I'm aware, there will be a gap, and that was the residents of number 10 that told me that.
Okay, well, can we check on that in some way? Clark? I'd rather not.
No, only that.
It's not.
They have to, if they are using, they have to apply for permission for the owners of number 10. to use the party wall, and if the owners of number 10 say no, then it's a non-starter anyway. So, yeah, unless there's a gap, and if there's a gap, then they're quite happy to allow that. Yeah, well, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. No.
Okay, well,
So,
I think can we have a proposer then for this?
I'll propose it.
Okay, Councillor Julie Smith proposes second. Those in favour? 2. Those against?
I'm abstaining on the objections.
And you are saying,
I'm objecting. I'm against. Okay. Item 2119.8, which is to consider the planning application 212189M new shop front, existing windows and dwarf wall, blah, 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 blah. 111 Wilmslow Road. It's already happened.
Can I just say on this one, I'm a bit confused.
Well, not the only one.
When you look on the planning application, the planning officer is recommending refusal.
Well, they're in a bit of a mess then, aren't they? Because they've knocked the front out.
The planning officer, Catherine Fengor, stated on the 25th of June that she recommended refusal on the grounds that there is insufficient information submitted with the application to allow that to determine whether there'd be likely to be a significant loss of amenity in the locality caused by odours and noise associated with the proposed A3 use. Now, I didn't think they had to apply for planning for change of use, so I don't understand.
Apply within a bracket of A1 to A4.
Right, so can they still go ahead and do
I
it?
don't see what's stopping them to be present.
Right. I mean, like Sue said,
They've already done it. It's finished. Well,
So unless
more or less.
you're actually going to get involved in some way, shape or form, which they won't. And not
right.
If you consider what happened on the road, the burger place, had to turn to a burger place overnight.
Well, I think it looks rather nice anyway. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but they should have waited for planning. Sorry?
Exactly.
So do we have to vote on this or not?
If you were in favour, would you recommend refusal or recommend no objection?
Okay, well, we'll have a vote. Can I have a proposer then?
I propose that we have no objections.
Okay, fair enough.
Then, if we do go ahead,
Yeah,
it's.
okay. So can I have a seconder for Councillor Smith's proposal? Councillor Sampson. Those in favour to accept Councillor Smith's proposal that we do not object? In favour? Okay, fair enough. Unanimous. 2119.9 to consider planning application 213275M. Advert consent for signs displayed on a business premises and related to that business, main sign and 4 fascia signs. Handforth Dean Retail Park, Outfit King, Kilncroft Lane, Handforth. I believe, isn't this one that they've reduced from 5 to 4?
I don't know, it's advertising JD Sports.
They've taken over Outfit.
So,
Yeah,
the outfit, so.
I don't see anything wrong with it personally. I don't.
It's in keeping with the other retailers.
Yes, exactly so. Okay, can I have a proposer to accept that, please? Councillor Julie Smith proposes. May I have a seconder? Councillor Sampson seconds it. All those in favour of accepting? Unanimous. And finally, item 2119.10 to consider the planning application 213457M, 2-storey side elevation, 9 Delamere Road, Handforth. Any comments, councillors? No?
It's an end house, and they're building in the garden.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and given that elsewhere on the estate, they're trying to build a full house in a garden, I'd rather just have an extension than
Okay.
a full house.
Okay.
So, no objections.
Proposer, please. Councillor Sampson proposes, seconder.
I'll second it.
Councillor Julie Smith seconds. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Close the planning and environment committee. No, it's just a planning committee now. Close the meeting is 19:13. Thank you very much.
Just make one point. Sorry. And I'll leave in the agenda. Can we agree that the position is chair, not chairman, in all usage? Not chairman in here, because I know you're not a man. So I'm just saying that if we use the term chair, it just.
No, it's just.
I think it's anachronistic.
Well, I don't object to being called a chairman. I'm not bothered. I'm sure Councillor Sampson isn't. You're a chairman. No, I don't like the use of chair anyway. Sounds like an item that you sit on. No, I prefer chairman personally. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
No, you do part A.
Part A first, yeah.
So would you announce that to the public then, please?
And,
Oh, right. Doing part A first and then going
21 to see the points of absence.
I think we're aware of the position on that.
Do you need another vote?
I'll use the previous vote.
Everyone happy with that?
Yes,
Yeah.
21 to 22, no declarations of interest, request for dispensation to discuss and vote on the matter which member of what member has disposable.
No.
Chair panel say no objection. Excellent. Objection, yeah. 21 to 23, forum public comment questions concerning items on this agenda. May vote to the council. Open forum, comment and questions concerning items on the agenda which may be put to the council by the public during this period. Matters on which the chairman's view require debate and or discussion will be referred to the next committee meeting as appropriate. Public forum is restricted to 15 minutes unless the chairman allows otherwise. Does any member of the public have any comments? Actually.
Part B, 21-24, Part B, we are excluded from the meeting, and it's regarding the co-option of council. I understand that Part B, we have to be removed from the room because there's the confidential and personal information given. But I'm just wondering what personal information is going to be given. When someone just wants to be brought into the transparency.
It's under Part B. That's what we have. I think we had this discussion at the last meeting where there was a Part B item which we don't discuss in front of the public on any issue.
To clarify, we're not asking you to remove yourself either. We'll go.
We're never coming back.
And there might be some personal details that
Sorry? Yeah.
Sorry, can I just ask you to say that again? I couldn't hear, there was chat.
I know co-option is different than somebody running an election, but I would have thought that the information that they were given about themselves will be similar and not the sensitive nature. That's the only reason why I have a question.
It's for the
the councillors to actually determine, and that's what we will be doing in the.
Yes, I understand that.
Which is why it's under a part B. Yes.
Councillor Smith, I think you should make it known how many applicants there are.
Yes, we had. That's true. Yeah, but that will come out as we make the decision. Yeah. Any more questions? Ian?
In connection with agenda item B, that's all I'm going to refer to item B. The vacancies that under item B were created by resignations under notoriously mysterious circumstances of certain councillors. The monitoring officer and reported by Winslow Co UK have both reported that the investigations have been ongoing for 1 year now, since July last year. The monitoring officer also reported that we received many complaints from Handforth residents about councillors' behaviours, and that some of these may be leading to some very serious situations and allegations. I have heard and know of no complainant who has yet received any meaningful feedback from the monitoring officer or anybody else on what happened, why those mysterious circumstances were so mysterious, and just to clarify what actually went on. And not least, because our clerk's reputation might still be under something of a cloud, given what happened, until such time as this is out in the public domain and can be seen very clearly to be no fault whatsoever of our clerk. Can the council please give us whatever feedback you have received to date on this issue from the monitoring officer?
I'll just work backwards.
Yeah.
As far as the clerk's reputation is concerned, I think it's fair to say that he has been completely exonerated. And it's acceptable for me to say that, is it, Ashley? Yeah, he's been completely exonerated by Cheshire East. So that's not a concern. The open vacancy on the South Ward now is due to the resignation of Councillor Burkill. The previous resignation from Councillor Bruton has been filled by the election back in April by Councillor Julian. Sorry. I beg your pardon.
Oh, no.
I beg your pardon. Yes, that's the election that is currently underway. Yes. The previous election was, of course, as we know, about the self-disqualification. As far as the response that has been received regarding the investigation, we are still unable to comment on that. I can agree that we have received information back from the investigator, but we are not able currently to make any comments on that. We hope to do so as soon as possible.
Ian's point, perhaps Cheshire East should say something by now. You've got one ex-councillor still likely, Ashley, and others.
Yes, what I would say is, that there is, we have been requesting it. There has been an administrative delay. I don't believe it is a ploy. I think it's purely an administrative delay, which is what we have been given from the investigator, who, it can be guaranteed, is on our side from the comments that are made. But unfortunately, we can't go into detail as yet under the terms. Once we do, it will be published. One of the responses is over 500 pages. So they have gone into a great deal of detail, and rest assured that everyone and his brother in Handforth will be welcome to a copy that I get. I hope that answers your question. Okay, good evening.
Sorry?
Yes, sorry, absolutely. Yep, sure.
Very streamlined,
Okay, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my apologies for keeping you waiting, but we had a decision that had to be arrived at because of the candidates for the co-option. Going into the meeting for the full parish council, for those who might have arrived late, should there be a fire, it was a real fire, it won't be a drill. Out any quick way as you can. 21-21-1, to receive apologies for absence. We already have that info, Ashley. Yep, thank you. 21-21-2, to note declarations of interest and request for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-opted member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Anybody?
None.
Item 21-21-6.
Payment of accounts.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, what?
You have an interest.
All right. So I've got to abstain?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll have to declare an interest then in that item.
Yes.
And I will have to abstain, which seems very strange to me.
Oh,
Sorry, but there we are.
understanding on. Okay, thank you. And nobody else? No? No, nor I. Do you get those names, Ashley? We're all right. Okay. 21-21-3, open forum. Comment and questions concerning items on this agenda may be put to the council by the public during this period. Matters which, in the chairman's view, require debate and/or discussion will be referred to the next committee or council meeting as appropriate. Public forum is restricted to 15 minutes unless the chair allows otherwise. Let's see if there are any questions from the public. Roger.
Yes, not so much question as a comment on item 21-21-7, resolve that Handforth Parish Council be in the Handforth Town Council. I'm a bit puzzled by this as to what the thinking behind it is. Are we hopeful by so doing that the troubles associated with history with Handforth Parish Council will be swept under the carpet, and because there won't be any Handforth Parish Council anymore, actually Handforth Town Council? And that's one thought which went through my mind. I'd like someone to explain what the reasoning is behind that proposed change. And I wonder whether it's appropriate for two reasons. Firstly, according to the current local plan, Handforth is classified as a local service centre, whereas Wilmslow is classified as a principal town. I don't think Handforth has yet reached the status of principal town. I think that will come once the garden village is complete and once the development at the end of Play Lane and Play Lane and Motion Road is complete. So I think on those grounds it might be a bit premature to relabel the parish council as Handforth Town Council. And my gut feeling is that if there's a fight in court, it ought to be Handforth Parish Council arising from the ashes and saying, look guys, there's been a great change in the parish council composition, and I think we ought to move forward from here and in confidence and throw benefits from the funds that were saved at the parish council.
Thank you, Roger. I will go through a response to that when we get to the agenda item. Was there something? Yeah. Sorry, just let the councillor respond.
I just want John wants to respond. Well, give you my opinion on why we should change. And I've been asking for this since the days of John Brooks, because a great number of people, it's nothing to do with the viral video or the troubles that we've had for the past couple of years. My main concern is that a lot of residents think that the parish council is associated with the church and they don't want anything to do with it. And I was hoping that after the viral video, people would realise that it's not anything to do with the church and that our position would be clarified, but it hasn't, which is apparent from the same people being here every month. You know, I would have thought, with the interest that there was in,
I will be going into it.
Going on of the parish council, that, you know, more people would have been interested enough to come and see what was going on. So from my perspective, I'm quite happy for it to be changed from the parish.
Yeah, so
The trouble is that the Reverend Burness was quite unhappy on
Mm.
between Handforth Parish Council and Oriel Church Council.
Yeah.
yes, yes, I will be going into the reasoning behind it when we get to the item. Oh, Alan.
I reiterate what Councillor Smith said. I believe that by calling Handforth a town council in the future gives you an opportunity. There's a lot of development going on. It also gives you an opportunity of rebranding yourself and getting away from the stigma that is perceived of you being attached to the church.
Okay, can I?
And that way, I'm sure this a rebranding exercise, and I hope that alongside the rebranding exercise, we will get perhaps a news print out about the background of Handforth Parish Council, right? Being why you're changing or will change the name to Town Council, and it will give people a background of how it's all come about. And you can start with a fresh sheet of paper.
Thank you, David. Well, I'm going to suggest, Ashley, can I, we take on the motion 21-21-7 now, as there's been so much discussion of it. And then,
Alan to speak.
is it about the Handforth?
Well, one about that, two things really. The other one was about the ministry on the website.
That's not on the agenda. I can discuss that with you.
Sorry, Alan, could you say that again? I couldn't hear you.
The internal audit report on the website.
Yeah, that was from a couple of months ago, yeah. That's from a couple of months
Internal
ago.
audit.
Internal report.
Yeah, last meeting.
Yeah, at the last, Alan, it was discussed at the last meeting, Alan, but I'll speak to you afterwards because it was mentioned about the reasons why. But we decided to just accept the internal audit report and put future controls in place, which are in place now. Thank you.
It's obviously something which might be picked up on the development.
Are you free, Peter? Yes. Okay.
We totally the parish council bit is submitted over since leaving, and we are statistically a big parish council. Town would give a better reflection outside, even if it's John Burnett particularly. Sorry about that.
Okay. Sam?
Just I wanted in relation to 21-21-8 actually, to the potential referendum. It was just a suggestion that there are tools available, electronic tools available to do that, such as survey monkey, which I don't want to teach people to say they exist. Potentially, if they do that really quite cheaply. If they're able to compile an email list, then that poll can be done basically.
Yeah, I agree that that is that's one method of doing it, but we also will need to do knocking on doors as well, as David did 2011. Okay.
Agenda item 8. Please determine any further action in housing nominations. Back in March, we decided and agreed that we were going to do a leaflet campaign to raise awareness and let the people of Handforth know about the consultation process and what it would involve with merger. Obviously, that hasn't been done. And I'm just questioning why these decisions are being made and the majority of people in Handforth really don't know anything about it or what's what and what.
Yes. Yes, we've not got to that period yet because we've been waiting for information from Cheshire East about whether or not they will be holding a referendum or we didn't know yet. But I think we've got the information.
How we know they're not going to pay for a referendum. The other point is the consultation isn't live yet, so we couldn't give you a leaflet destination to go to make a comment about Cheshire East.
Yeah, I can see that, but it just seems to me that because of what, it maybe it's the way the agenda items are being put out, that the decision's already been made by the parish council to oppose any merger.
Yes, we have.
Less people in Handforth would like to remain as Handforth, but then again, is this preempting what people would want because you've already.
No, the parish council made their own decision as well.
They can make their own decision.
They have to have a point, their own perspective, basically. Because they then need to speak to Cheshire East with that in mind. And the other parish councils of Chorley and Rundle have also made their position on it clear.
Yeah, I'm just going back to previous meetings when it's been discussed about being more in contact with.
Yes, quite so, yeah.
And this might be a golden opportunity to.
Oh, rest assured, everyone, just about everyone in Handforth will be asked the question. Other questions? Oh. Another one?
Item 10, the board of the council street plans. Is this not Cheshire East?
No. But that's why we have the precept. Because Cheshire East maybe would have done it in the past, but they're skint. They've had 4 million taken out of the highways budget. They're being chopped everywhere. We have a situation where there's somebody that needs a new sign because ambulances couldn't find them. And that's a major problem. So that's why we're using the precept that we've got from Cheshire East to buy the stuff that's needed here.
I can just make a comment on that as well. Back in 2019, I was asked for a street sign on Spath Lane Estate to be replaced to show that it led from Lostock Road on to
Heatley Way.
well,
Heatley Way.
No.
Helsby Way.
Helsby Way, but for the same reason, the ambulances. And it was put on a list. It still hasn't been done. And I know it's still on the list because I check it regularly, but it's a case of as and when they come to it, and that there's nothing more pressing to spend that money on. So if we can do it as a parish council, then why not? Yeah.
Just asking the question why it's coming down to having to use our money to replace street plans.
Because that's what we do. We allocate funds where they're needed because Cheshire East won't. So,
I'm just asking the question, could the whole question not be put on Cheshire
well,
East?
as you just heard there, 2 years ago the ward councillor asked them for it and it's still not been done. So we'll take action.
It will get done eventually if we leave it, but in the meantime, we've still got a position where people, ambulances and doctors can't find the roads, so it needs doing sooner rather than later. A prime example of being put on a list on a work schedule is at the top of Spath Lane, opposite the vets. The footpath there has just been relayed. I asked for that to be done, and I met with the highways engineer there back in 2019, and that again was put on a schedule of works, and it has been done 2 years later, but it's been done. So, you know, I don't doubt that they will get round to these things, but if we need it doing sooner, then it's up to us to do it.
Okay, thank you. David?
Yeah, just to make a point to Anne's question there. I'd like to say that £400 is a small amount of money. I guess it's just used to doing it. By the time they sent the 3-ton truck out and the 4 men with it to change the sign, it would cost a lot more than £400, which is still coming out of your pocket.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes. 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 That's right. Yeah. Thank you very much. No more questions? Thank you. Next item, 21.4, to improve and sign the minutes, the HPC Council meeting, or the HPC meeting of 15th of June 2021. We're all trying to save paper, bear with me. Right. Does anyone have any issues?
None.
On the minutes? No?
Clark, I've just got one. You were going to send out the project list to us all to put our names against it. No.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions? Okay. Can I have a proposal to accept, please? Smith?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Can I have a vote in favour, please?
Favour.
Anonymous, thank you. 21.5. Motion to vote on recommendations of Council Motion 21.24 and vote in the new co-opted member to represent the vacant South Ward seat of Handforth Parish Council. New member to sign the declaration of acceptance of office and fill in a DPI form. I'll just check with Ashley on the format here. We're required to
vote on the matter. We've taken a vote. Mr. Sullivan been nominated to sit on the parish council.
So we need a proposal and a vote. Yes. Can I propose that Gary Sullivan be accepted into the South Ward seat?
I'm at second fine.
And can I have a vote in favour? We had the vote, didn't we? So, you've got the vote details.
Yeah, 3 in favour with 1 abstention. And therefore, Terry Sullivan joins the council.
Thank you. Well done, let's join. The next to Councillor Smith, please. Yes.
I have a declaration of acceptable office out of the chief.
Just like to say thank you, Kerry, and welcome to the council. It's something that you've seen before, obviously, so I don't think it'll take you long to get back into the routine. I don't think so. Okay, thank you. Item 21.6 to approve and sign the order of payment accounts for July and August 2001.
I'd just like to make a comment, Chair. The planter signs look absolutely amazing. They do say Handforth Parish Council on them. However, I have opted to go around and put a sticker over when we become a town council. But thank you very much, Clark, for getting that done.
Any issues on the order of payments for July and August? It is on the one document. No? No? No issues? Okay. Any issues?
I've got to abstain.
Of course, but you could bring up an issue if you have an issue. And close it up.
Just one thing, skip line 300.
That's including that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that's what they would say.
Good. Okay. Can I have a proposal to accept them? Please? Thank you. And vote in favour. Can Councillor Sullivan vote?
Three in favour.
No.
Two abstentions.
Thank you. 21-21-7 to resolve that effective from 31st of July 2021 that Handforth Parish Council will now be renamed Handforth Town Council and will adopt the style of Town Council. What I'd like to say is that we've said that this council is committed to greater interaction with Handforth residents, and many residents that I've spoken to in the past have understandably believed that the parish council was in some way attached to the church, which was reasonable understanding. The Vicar of Dibley comes to mind with people's ideas of what a parish council is like. The parish element, anyone, as we spoke before, only refers to the physical boundaries. It's felt that many residents will identify more with a secular town council rather than a parish council with its connotations of religion. I think religions are now in a minority in most of Britain now, but we're looking to make sure that we are reflecting what Handforth is by its population. The question that I had before about whether or not it was because of the viral, I don't know who asked that one, was it Roger, I think, whether it was so that we wash our hands of the parish council. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I'm still getting comments from people now who, say, "Oh, I saw you on the telly," and that's all the rubbish. But it's not because of that. A definition, a government definition, is quite straightforward. If a dwelling has 35 other dwellings within 800 metres, that is considered a village. If a dwelling has 500 other dwellings within 800 metres, that is a town. And we fulfil on that criteria. So from that point of view, to make sure that we're getting recognised as a town council and not as anything attached to the church, as has been mentioned, but also we fulfil the criteria that I mentioned. And that's why I'm proposing that motion take place. I would point out that there is a means of amending the council notice boards so they reflect Handforth Town Council. And we don't have stacks of stationery with Handforth Parish Council on it that's going to get binned. Any comments from the chair? Chair,
can I just ask, as the town council, will we be entitled to any more members of the town council?
No, sorry, that's down to treasury.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. It's a resolution by council.
We have taken advice.
When would it be effective from?
It says on here, 31st of July, is it?
Yes, 31st July. Roger?
The number of council committees on this body, of course, can be reviewed during the present review of local governments. That's one of the briefs of the committee of local matter. So it is felt that we need more parish councils to review of the developments going on in the west and the east of the parish. You can ask for them. I think the rules are that there's got to be a minimum of seven, how do you can have any number above that.
So I believe Style being asked to increase the numbers. Something I heard somebody that they're increasing, want to increase it, but we'll let Style carry on with that.
Yeah, the development to the east is likely to have a rainfall anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Can I just say, another reason why I think we should be a town is that we're not a little village that can be swallowed up by Wilmslow town. We're now more robust, aren't we?
Yes, when I did a check on the populations of towns in Cheshire East, there are 4 or 5 towns on the list that have a smaller population than Handforth. With Handforth of 6,611, I think it was. So we wouldn't be the smallest anyway. I believe that John Brooks' comment was that Handforth was the largest village in Cheshire East, smallest town in Cheshire East. Okay. So, any more comments?
Nope.
I'd like to propose that motion that we adopt it and that we become Handforth Town Council from the 31st of July. I'd like to propose that.
I'll second it.
Thank you. And votes in favour, please. Thank you. 21-21-8. Following on from motion 21-11-8 to determine any further action which can be taken in opposing any proposed merger with Goodwell Town Council and Tory Parish Council, and agree any further funding requirements up to an additional maximum amount of 15,000 from general reserves. This to include organising engagement events, media publicity, and potential request of informal referendum, which no longer would be paid for by Cheshire East. That would be paid for by the Parish Council.
Chair, can I make a comment, please?
Please do.
Ashley kindly sent us a notification from Brian Reid, who is the Democratic Services Officer at Cheshire East. I'd like Ashley to put it on the website so that any residents can go and have a look as to see why they want us to merge. There are 3 websites that you can go to, but I think it would be most important that we put it on our Facebook page and on our website, please, Ashley, if the chair's in agreement and the rest of the councillors are.
Yes, let's get the information out, let everybody know.
Not 3 things.
Sorry?
Not 3 points is mentioned.
What are they?
3 reasons to merge.
If you want to go in and have a look, a lot of it,
Yes, I think
is, I think they're trying to predetermine that we're going to merge.
No reasons.
No, they don't give reasons. They just give very dictatorial sentences to say this will happen because of this boundary change. And this is the way they're looking at it. But if you want to contact Ashley before it goes on the website or see me afterwards, I'll give you the web addresses that you can look at. Okay?
Brian Reid wrote to me and said that the reason was that they thought that as we were so close to those where most residents of Handforth got most of their, a lot of their services from them.
We can.
I spent the next 20 minutes trying to think of any services.
Yeah.
I think that's the big issue there.
The only service that they ever gave us was the use of their Bowser.
I think in terms of services that we provide, I think we've got our
Oh yeah. Got a vet, doctors, pharmacists, etc. Yes. Yes. Absolutely right. Roger, sorry, David. Roger.
I understand it, I'm not arbiter as to whether the boundary changes and fusions of parish councils is a committee of the central government. And one of the things which they say is that they will not look favourably on the creation of mega parish councils or mega town councils, particularly if they are a disadvantage of the residents of any of the parishes further than mine.
Yes.
And that is a statement made very clearly in the
Yeah, quite. David?
I think without appearing to be too mischievous, I think a lot of it's down to political elements, and I think that will be exposed in due course.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just say one thing about this? I am having familiarised myself with the 1972 Act. I know that it does say in there that no changes can be made without permission from all of the councils involved. And that point, I believe, Roger, was made to Brian Reid. And Brian Reid discounted it and came back with something, can't remember what it was now, but I haven't found anything that overrides the 1972 Act. And given that Handforth Parish, current Parish Council, now Town Council, doesn't want to merge, Wilmslow doesn't want to merge, and Chorley doesn't want to merge, I do not see how it can go ahead, because it's contravening the 1972 Act.
Okay, thanks, sir. So can we have a proposal for agreeing the funding available from general reserves? Councillor Julie Smith, Councillor Moore second. Can I have a vote in favour, please? Unanimous. Thank you.
Chair, before you move on, it was agreed that councillors would set up a working group in order to start promoting it. And as we're going to be a town council by the 31st of July, I feel that maybe a working group should be set up fairly quickly and agree the strategy of what we're going to do as soon as we know when the consultation is going to come out. We need to be prepared.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Yes, totally agree. Excellent. That's good to know. Thank you very much.
This was down most of the points, but one may be in favour of our merger. If you look at the parameters which the Constitution Committee used, every single one of them will be shot down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll set something up with the steering group and members of the council, and we'll do that through Ashley. Okay. Thank you. Next motion, 21-21-9, to agree the purchase of 2 additional notice boards for Handforth up to a maximum value of £12.50 plus VAT.
Can I ask where these notice boards are going?
One nearly past the and the Hallwood Estate, and one outside here.
And one where?
Outside here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's rocky there.
Yeah. What's good about the one the corner?
Yeah.
Is that so many people walk past?
Yeah.
Good. Can I have a proposal for that, please? Councillor. Second. Councillor Smith. Can I have a vote in favour, please? Unanimous. Thank you. 21-21-10. Motion to agree the purchase of up to 10 replacement street name signs as identified missing or beyond repair and Handforth to a maximum value of £400. We've already had a discussion on this. Can I have a proposal? Second. Vote in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. And item 21-21-11, to receive an update from the appointed woodland specialist in relation to the Handforth woodland plan. This is Councillor Moore's proposal.
Yes, can I introduce everybody to our woodland specialist, Chris Widger, who is over there, who will now give us a report on the completed.
Am I going to do that from here?
Yeah, if you want to, you can come out to the front, whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm going to speak to you, so if you're happy to turn your chair, I'm to check. I'm not know how or anything like that. Well, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me along to the Parish Council meeting, and also for actually commissioning me to do this piece of work. I do appreciate that. Councillor Moore asked me to embark on this piece of work, and I set about the task really from the basis of looking at the woodland that was identified in the neighbourhood plan as a starting point. And then
first stage in that is very much a sort of, it's a typical process in developing a woodland plan that I follow. The first stage of that process is to try and understand a little bit about what we've got. So to assess the various compartments of woodland, look at how they're made up, how they're structured, the sort of habitat types, their age, their history, and then to quantify them a little bit in terms of their scale and size and specific location, etc. So there's a bit of research to be done to start with to really find out about the asset and what you're needing. That's the first part of the process. And once I've got to that point, the next stage is really to find a sort of way of looking at these for the future. What is the vision that we see for these places? What do we want from these places? And so I proposed a vision back to Councillor Moore, and I think it went through the councillors, is that right? And everyone had a look at that. So I made a proposal for the vision, which I'm happy to read to you if you'd like. I think it might help in the next stage of what I'm about to say. So the vision I came up with is this. Handforth's woodlands will provide a green lung for the village. In a partnership with the landowners, they will as far as possible be accessible, understood and valued, and they will enable a resource for local recreation, education and reflective connection with the environment. They will be integral to people's enjoyment of the parish or town and valued for the amenity and ecological contribution they make to the quality of life for local people. Each woodland will be structurally diverse and boast many vectoring tree specimens and habitats for diverse wildlife. They will be resilient to climate change, pests and diseases, and increasing visitor pressure. Associated ponds, wet flushes, brooks, grasslands, and hedgerows will complement woodland, creating valuable niches for non-woodland species. Handforth woodlands will enjoy protections made possible through local policies, and be a cherished stronghold for nature in an increasingly developing community. And their management will be a model of good practice for similar parishes. So that's a sort of starting point really from where for the next step. And the next step is to firstly look a little bit about the protection of those spaces and how we assess the threats and perhaps come up with strategies to deal with those threats. And beyond that, we need to sort of from the vision really develop a set of objectives. And I put together a series of objectives which are both collective and for each of the various compartments, because there are, it's not as if we have one woodland, it's broken down into lots of different sections of woodland across the parish. So there are a series of collective or broad overview objectives and objectives for each of the compartments. Now, the real challenge for Handforth is that of all of the woodlands, and there are really 12 that are identified, 11 or 12 that are identified in the name of the plan, they are within multiple ownerships. And I couldn't even find out exactly how many ownerships we're talking about. But on the plus side, 50% of, roughly 50% of woodland that we have within the parish is within Cheshire East ownership. And that's very helpful because in order to actively bring about a sort of an active management plan, you need to have the permission and the authority of the landowner. So I think that what we've done here is get to the point where we have a strategy and a series of objectives, and we've identified a vision and some of the threats. The next stage, really, as I see it, is to engage with at least Cheshire East and possibly other landowners in order to come to some sort of agreement about how we deliver against these objectives with each of those landowners. And
Now, there are a number of ways in which you can do that, but almost all woodland operations will require permission and consent on the Forestry Commission as well as the landowner. And that is something that requires a full consultation process, and it requires work to go onto a public register. And I think we can only do that if we are working with landowners. So the next stage, I think, is to engage with landowners and at least broadly agree around these objectives and what we would like to see happen in order to develop the detailed prescriptions from those objectives with those landowners. And we can then decide as to, or you can decide, how you go about that. That can be done either by allowing the landowners to take on that strategy and enable them to sort of or support them in delivering against those, or it can be to adopt that work for yourselves with their permission. But either way, it has to be done with their permission, and normally if any tree work, felling, planting, restocking, or anything of that sort is required, then permissions and consent will be needed from the Forestry Commission. The benefit of going through that process with the Forestry Commission is that it also has the potential to unlock funding for that work. Although it is possible that there are other ways of funding these things, there's all sorts of ways. If people are willing to donate, or if the parish is wealthy enough to do it itself, then that's another option. Or we could be looking at development mitigation funding, which I think is perhaps, given the state of things in the area, one of the strong possibilities for funding any prescriptions that we might want to carry out. I hope that provides some overview. It's a fairly hefty document that I've put together, and I hope it probably explains it a little bit more, in a bit more detail, and perhaps a little bit more cogently than I've just done now. But I think what I would say is that the parish is endowed with some very high quality woodlands, and I'm not sure that that was fully understood by a lot of the population. I'm not suggesting that they all are high value. In fact, very few, if any, actually are notified or designated in any form or sense. That doesn't mean to say they aren't high quality, high value ecologically. Some of them are, particularly those along the Dean and in the tributaries that run back and along run into the Dean. Those sort of woodlands in the valleys are particularly valuable in terms of ecology. So I think there's scope for both a sort of an approach to woodland management itself and also interpreting what we have here to local people so that it's better understood and therefore perhaps better engaged. So yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Question from Roger.
Very meaningful. And I've not read it, I'm just want to listen to. Okay. I've got the neighbourhood plan open, the landscaping biodiversity areas. I can see all the plots of woodland that are specified there. My question to you is that, I mean, the neighbourhood plan is supposed to protect those pieces of woodland anyway. Supposedly, I've seen a few uses of that already. What do you see as the major threats to some of these plots of woodland?
I think the major threat, there are a number of them, but the major threat, I think, is associated with increasing population. And as we will see in the forthcoming years, areas which are currently down to agricultural or open space being taken up to housing, with an increasing population, with a higher expectation for local recreation, there will be more pressure. And I think what that brings about
is a series of issues really. It's disturbance, it's compaction, it's canine activity, and also potentially bringing in pathogens and diseases. So there will be increasing pressure on woodland, in fact, not just here, it's happening everywhere. But I think it's very relevant to Handforth because of the extent of the balance we'd like to see in the near future. So I'd say that's key.
One of the questions which is turned over and over and over in my mind is that one of our most important pieces of woodland is in fact Hallwood, which has some special destination issues down there, historic visits. And if you go down there in the spring, there is the most marvellous great of bluebell. And now, what, about 100 yards away, there's 175 new houses. What do we do about that? Can we fence off that woodland bluebell glade, or do we keep it open to all these new residents and let them travel all over the bluebell glade and
Well, you hit on, I think, the eternal dilemma for the countryside manager, and I was a countryside manager for many years. And I would say that this sort of simplistic answer to that is that if you try and explain people without engaging with them about why that is happening, and without a clear rationale for that, they won't accept it. And anything that you do, interventions such as fences, etc., will just be broken. And people will get angry. They'll get angry with the parish council, they'll get angry with whoever's doing fencing, and it won't work. The way around that, in my view, is to help people understand the value of what they have on their doorstep. Now that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, commitment, and often money. But if people understand what they have, what assets they're dealing with in their local community, they understand that they are more likely to value and they are more likely to support any interventions or any work that you will carry out to help protect them and conserve them. So you need to start by working with the community and developing initiatives that involve them around the woodland. And I think that is the key to it. But as I say, it's a very difficult process, and it's a long and complex process, and it requires expertise. So I would say that it's not impossible, and organisations like National Trust that I work for many years try very hard to help people understand their assets in order to engage with them in a meaningful and constructive way. I know by experience that just trying to do a piece of work without involving the community will norm that will norm that. And you spend quite on the end trying to deal with the issue.
one of the things that the neighbourhood plans do manage to do using the subsidies or whatever is to designate an area of land as a local green space. This piece of local land is situated immediately adjacent to one of our architectural gems, Handforth Hall, probably the oldest building in the parish. And just behind that, the Hall of Roman, just to the north of the Hall, is a piece of open land which is in private ownership. And at the moment, it's just left as grassland. One of the problems that might be associated with trying to persuade the owners of that piece of land to let us plant trees in it. It's under the control of a trust. What is a trust? Family owned National Hall. And that trust is not easy to deal with, in my experience.
Well, I think that's the landowner is willing to pay more on Ireland's land. Right. But there is nothing that I am aware of that could enforce on these. I think there is enough expectation both from central government, from local government, and from local
local planners and expectation to see tree planting happen. I think there's a weight of expectation that we could work with. And I think we have to be persuasive. But I guess not everyone is going to go along with that. I don't know, well, I think I know what you mean. So no road back. Yeah. It's a question of being persuaded to the landowner and perhaps some sweetness.
Can I just stop you there? So we need to go on with the rest of the meeting. I would like to thank Chris for that presentation. I have read the report fully. It's quite a document, but and there's pieces in it where I was reading Welsh, but it's quite technical in places, isn't it? But very good document, which I congratulate you on. I think it's a good piece of work for Handforth, certainly. Have you had a copy of the neighbourhood plan?
Yes.
You got one? Okay, good. Okay. Sorry, say again? We can.
Yeah.
Yes. Do we need to propose it?
Yes.
I'd like to propose that we adopt the document as provided by Chris. And a second?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Vote in favour?
In favour.
Unanimous? Thank you. Okay. And item 21/21/12 to receive an update from Council Ward following meetings with ANSA.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chris, for that very detailed report, and I do appreciate it. This all came about because I was handed a document that had been put together by, I believe, Jones Homes for some improvements to the South Wood, which is off Hall Road. And I looked at it and I thought, they want a tarmac path. That rang alarm bells for a start. And then they were putting all sorts of weird and wonderful things in. And I thought, really, we need to look at this as a big picture, not a little picture. And that was why we needed some expert help, and came in the form of Chris, who I have to say has worked for the National Trust. So he does know what he's talking about. And we had a very productive meeting in the Southwood talking about that. And then I was asked to attend a meeting at very short notice with ANSA about renewing the path in the South Wood. My concern was that people can't access the wood. I don't want cyclists and motorcycles and that kind of thing. That's not what it's about. It's about people accessing that wood. And it actually is rather a lovely wood. It's small, but it's lovely. So they have agreed, excuse me, they have agreed to do the path in exactly what Chris spec'd. There was no argument about tarmacking or anything, because that damages trees and does all sorts of dreadful things. And I was led to believe that it would be done this year. However, please don't hold us to that, because there is a slight issue in that some of the trees in the wood quite close to the path need to be removed because they are dangerous. And if we do get more people walking through there, the last thing we need is a tree to fall on somebody's head. So those have to be removed before ANSA will actually do the work on the path. So we have to wait for that department in Cheshire East to do their bit, which was agreed that they would, but there is no time scale on it as yet. However, please be assured I shall be chasing it very regularly, like weekly. So I'm hopeful that it'll all happen very quickly. Yes, Alan. Yeah, that's Section 106 money. Yes, that's correct. That's the money that's being used. Well, purportedly. Oh, and the other thing I have to say about the garden village trees. Yeah. Yeah. I have been badgering is the word, I think, the Garden Village department to say, I don't want all these trees plowed under, because there are hundreds and hundreds of trees over there, and some of them can be moved. They're young enough to be moved. And finally, last week, I got a result, and in September, I'm going on site with the Garden Village people, and we're going to look at what can and can't be moved. And then going to, well, prior to that, I'll be talking to Wilmslow Woodland group, who I'm sure would love to have some oak trees to plant, because I know they're planting thousands in conjunction with the National Trust. And of course, we can look for places that we would be allowed to move and put them here in Handforth. So that is my agenda for the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. When you said Handforth village people, then I had a picture of someone as a cowboy, someone as a biker, someone as a policeman. Thank you. And close the meeting at 2040, but we need a date for the next meeting, Ashley. Is it August? Sorry.
Yeah, what is it? September.
September, yes.
Is the
Beg your pardon.
council meeting. Second.
Yeah, we can do.
14th.
Sorry?
14th.
14th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Meeting closed. Thank you for your attendance.